last time we did a disappointing products video, you guys went wild for it. Apparently people like us complaining about things. So we have slowly but surely been keeping tabs on the things we've tried since that video, and we have a few to talk about, some things that didn't cut the mustard. So let's get cracking.
My first and most disappointing thing is the Pat McGraw Labs highlighter, which comes in a dual-ended stick, and then you have a pigment. So it came in 2 shades at the time, so there was a more golden one and then this more pearl-toned one, which has a lot of blue and pink reflects that run through it. So the one side is what I can only describe as Vaseline, and the other side is kind of a drier highlighting stick. It is the most underwhelming offering that I have ever tried. The packaging is cheap and disgusting. The labels are stuck on. The brush that comes with it is okay, but it's not phenomenal. It is so expensive, and also, so it's because you know who Pat McGraw is and how amazing she is, you expect the best, and this was very disappointing.
The packaging is
it's diabolical,
really poor,
and like feel how cheap this is.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, and I didn't even notice that it was stuck on the sticker. Like, I think things have improved. This was the first generation of releases that she did, but the new lipstick, that packaging looks luxe.
Yeah, I think she's had a huge new influx of investments, so I think that helps, obviously. In terms of the highlighter, the gloss, like I said, I could have just used Vaseline, and also because it is so slippy, you can't use it on top of powder because it will lift that. So you can only really use it on top of creams.
It's very, very similar to that Ciate one that I got in that Sephora pack, which I love, but I didn't pay that money for it.
Yes, no.
But yes, agree, must go over creams.
And this can also really, this is supposed to go on first, I think, and then the glossy bit over, but this is quite dry and powdery, whereas that is very, very slippy. So I don't find that the textures are particularly compatible on my skin. And then as for this pigment, oh no. I don't know who's supposed to wear it. Like, you could see the highlight from
editorial.
Space. Yeah, but that's just it. I don't think it's meant.
Chunky.
Yeah, it's not meant for every day.
I mean,
it's pink. It's pink.
It's like, oh no.
Isn't that bad?
Hideous. Yeah. It looks so good in a photo, but that's about it. It's basically Instagram makeup. I don't know if you can see the
it's pink
there. Yeah, that's nuts.
So, yeah. I am sad.
Okay, so I tried this product, I think in a first impressions video. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in the shade Golden Beige. I bought this from Clinique. I'd heard rave reviews about it and I wanted to try it. I love a little drugstore foundation. I liked using it in that video. It applied quite well. I did find it needed a little bit of Fix Plus to make it a little more juicy and finish. However, as the day wore on after that video and I wore it 2 or 3 times subsequently, I can tell you with absolute certainty that I completely hate this foundation. It is supposed to be for people with combination to oily skin. So I think it's designed in such a way that it's supposed to be fairly mattifying but to still have a glow. I just find it really drying. It makes my skin, first of all, it's very heavy, so you can completely see it on my face, and I hate that. Like, I only like foundations that completely sink into the skin and look like your own skin. They don't look like makeup. This looks like makeup. It's very heavy. Also, it's just so drying. The formula, I'm not exaggerating when I say the last time I tried it, and my skin is not dry, it's combo, I used 4 layers of Fix Plus. 1 before it went on, then 3 more times during, so as I was putting it on, and then again right at the end, and it still looked dry. It clings to kind of fine lines in here, this corner of your nose. It's hideous. It just looks so awful. There's nothing remotely photogenic about it. I just don't get it. I think if you had dry skin, this would push you right over the edge. So as far as I'm concerned, stay far, far away from it.
Such a shame, because so much that Wet n Wild does is really good.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Speaking of foundations, I want to clarify that this is in here not because I don't love the foundation, it's because it dries out so quickly. And this is the Tinted Doll Ultra Cushion Foundation from Lancome, which we have featured in favorites videos. So you pop it open and then you have this pre-soaked cushion which contains your foundation allocation, and then you apply it either using a sponge or brush or whatever. The foundation itself is utterly gorgeous.
Oh,
it is so beautiful and I loved it. I just found that, first of all, it seems affordable because it's 345 Rand or whatever, but you're getting like 5 mil of product, so it's not affordable.
Not necessarily good value.
It's really not good value. You get more than 5 mil, but you get where I'm going with that. And the cushion dries out, I'd say, in a matter of weeks, and I just think I think that's, like as Julia pointed out, unfortunately that probably is the case with most cushion foundations because they're exposed to air that much more. But I just don't think it's a good purchase. But the foundation itself is beautiful, so I really want to buy the liquid version that's in the bottle. And like,
we've got a sample on its way to us actually to try, so I will. Like, also, I think the finish is just absolutely
no, it's gorgeous. I just wish that it didn't dry. That's the only thing I don't like about it is it's you know it's the mechanism of
probably
getting
better
to
value
it.
to just buy the liquid version in the glass container. Okay, my next one is a bit of a strange product. It's the Clinique 2-in-1 Cleansing Micellar Gel and Light Makeup Remover. It looks like this. I just don't understand it. So it's a gel as opposed to like a liquid, like a normal micellar lotion. But I don't know why, and I don't know if I'm using it wrong or what the story is. But
I highly doubt that you're using it wrong.
I know, I mean, what does it say? For face and lips, apply a quarter-sized amount with fingertips, tissue off. For eyes, use cotton pad. It's a very strange format to do a micellar water in, to make it a gel, and it's quite tricky to use, so I just don't understand why you'd bother. I just basically don't get it. It's hard work. It doesn't actually remove makeup very well. I have way better luck just throwing my Garnier solution on a bit of cotton wool and taking my makeup off that way. So yeah, I don't get that at all. I'd be very surprised if it's selling.
My next one, this is from Mio, and this is their body brush. So you'll see that interspersed amongst the bristles are little massaging nodules. So you get the benefit of dry brushing plus a massage for cellulite and detoxification and all that good stuff. So apparently you're supposed to dry brush every single day from the tips of your toes to the top of your head to help lymphatic drainage. I have the best of intentions and I try and I go through periods of doing it, but honestly it's a last.
I bought a dry brush and I've done it once in like 3 months.
I mean, at least like doing it in winter is just like a non-starter, don't even bother. But anyway, I'd seen this and I thought, oh well, you know, that looks quite nice, and Mio as a brand I really, really love. Unfortunately, these massaging nodules are not nearly flexible enough. They don't have enough give to be comfortable. And the bristles, when you are on your delicate areas, feel like little claws. They are really, really sharp.
Oh,
and that's such a bummer because it is expensive for a body brush.
Do you have one that you do like?
I like the Body Shop one.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that comes on the handle, but just take the long handle off, and then it's kind of like an oval shaped.
Okay, next is something that I bought from Glow Theory in that K-Beauty haul I did a few weeks ago. This product, it's perfectly nice to use, but I just don't think it's worth existing in a category all on its own. It's the Laneige Special Care Lip Sleeping Mask. This is the berry one. It comes in, I think, 2 or 3 different scents. It feels really nice on the lips, but I have to put so much on to get the benefits of... What does it like smell?
It smells like
Quite
the
berry.
first generation Body Shop lip balms that we used to get. Do you remember?
That's exactly what it smells like!
Yeah.
I used to have a strawberry one. It's exactly what it smells
Yeah.
like. Oh yeah, totally. I have to put so much on my lips for it to moisturize them to the degree that I can like tell the difference the next day, that I just don't see the point. It works no better than a regular layer of 8-hour cream or Blistex or whatever. It's not, I don't think it's not a mask. It's not doing anything miraculous for your lips.
It just seems a bit
It doesn't.
yucky to me.
I can very rarely still feel it the next day. Like I can feel the Nuxe Red Meal Balm the next day. I think that's far superior to this. I'll probably use the whole thing. I do use it most evenings, but like I said, I'm having to put so much on. I just don't want to waste it.
It's an obligation.
I wouldn't go. Like if you're going to go for something from Laneige, get the water sleeping mask, the face one, unreal. This one, not so much.
Another one that I keep next to my bed, and I have actually finished this, but this is the Crabtree and Evelyn Gardner's overnight hand therapy, and it's supposed to be a really intensive overnight hand mask. It isn't, so I wouldn't waste my money. I think that, I know this is unhelpful because you can't get the Weleda skin food here anymore, but if you can, that is by far the most effective overnight hand treatment that I've ever encountered, and it is dirt cheap. This smells lovely, but it didn't help raggedy cuticles. It didn't soften my hands particularly. I certainly couldn't feel it when I woke up in the morning. My hands didn't feel hugely moisturized. As with Wet n Wild, like I think Crabtree and Evelyn, a lot of what they do is so lovely, and their La Source range is beautiful. You know, we're huge fans of a lot of what they do, so I had high hopes for this.
So my next disappointing product is potentially a bit controversial. This is the Beauty Blender. I bought this a year ago and it sat in its container for 12 months because I don't know, I have a mental block about some things that I buy that I can never get around to testing them because of the things I'm saying. Anyway, I eventually thought, right, stopping ridiculous. Give it a whirl. It's not that it's a bad product or a bad tool. It's just that it's no better than the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, which I have over here. This is that one. You can get it at Clicks. It's much more affordable. I find there's a couple of things that bother me. One, it doesn't retain moisture as well as the Real Techniques one. I find it dries out very quickly. So I'll go to the bathroom, soak it, get it nice and wet, and put it on my desk while I'm doing my makeup. And if I leave it too long, let's say I do my hair first and then do my makeup, it's almost dried up completely and I have to go and wet it again. I don't have that problem with the Miracle Complexion Sponge. When I wash it, it leaks pink dye, which I just think is rubbish. Like, again, the Real Techniques one doesn't do that. Why should then Camilla's her black one doesn't do it?
My black one
There's no reason why they have to use a dye that's so leaky. Like, the water's literally fluorescent pink when I finish soaking it. So I think that's poor, quite honestly, especially for the money. These are bloody expensive. And it just doesn't do anything that orange one from Real Techniques doesn't. But I just don't get the hype, quite honestly. I just think they're hella expensive for what you're getting.
In defense of beauty blenders. I've been using them for years, and I have to say I've noticed, and I spoke to you about this in the week, is the most recent one that I've bought, there's a change. Like, they've changed something about the quality of the sponge in that, as you say, it doesn't retain the moisture as much as it used to. It used to be so spongy and like really bouncy and would hold a lot of moisture, and like it worked a lot more efficiently. And because I've been using them for so long, it was something I noticed straight away. I do like the Real Techniques one, but I never used to find it as squishy or as bouncy as a beauty blender, whereas now I think they are very much the same.
Yeah.
They're the same product.
Won't be buying that again. Another tool that I found disappointing, this is a bit funny. So only in the last couple of years have I really gotten into tanning, like self-tanning, and certainly I use that. I still do use that Clarins like cream lotion stuff. I love that stuff, but I've also been using the Bondi Sands spray-on dry oil, which you need to put on with the Mitt. So I've been using Mitts, over the last kind of 6 months to a year, and I was just always under the impression that they were all the same, that there was no variance in quality from one brand to another. I had been using the Saint-Tropez Mitt, it worked perfectly for me. Strangely enough, I struggled to find any mitts whatsoever in this country. I went to Clicks 4 or 5 times looking for a tanning mitt and really couldn't find one. Eventually found this one. It was a Caribbean tan mitt, and it seemed the same idea. It's got a very thin kind of backing. Put your hand in here and there's a sort of velour fabric here that you use to wipe on the tan. What's irritating about this, and why I won't buy it again, and I've gone and repurchased the Saint-Tropez one in the UK because I couldn't find it here, is it's got a plastic edge all the way around, which doesn't sound like a problem, but when you're using it and you're wiping your arm, if as you're going, like your hand turns around and it catches the corner, it literally scrapes all the product off your arm. So it's a very minor, but in reality a very irritating design flaw. So I used it one time and promptly put it into the pile of disappointing products because it doesn't work for me. I find that, and your hand does move around as you're using it in any tanning mitt. So for there to be such a sort of sharp edge on here that you can feel it's quite firm, hey?
Makes no sense.
And then you want to go over. It's just, life's too short.
Yeah. My next one is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer.
I thought you loved that.
I loved the first tube I bought, and so I bought another one. I don't know what's happened, but it's just so chalky, and it's the exact same shade.
Weird.
To the best of my knowledge, they haven't changed the formulation, or if they did, I must have missed it, because it is completely different from the first one that I bought. Like, it doesn't spread, it just goes really patchy and chalky, and I'm sorry, but I mean, the under eye area is not a place where you want any kind of texture amplification. So that is a real bummer, and it was expensive. I mean, I think I used it once or twice and I was like, oh no. If you do want a consistently excellent under eye concealer, the Estee Lauder Stay in Place Flawless Wear one in this tube, I haven't tried the one in the pan, but the one that comes in the tube I've used more than I can count, and it's still the one I use every single day. Or the Clarins Instant Light Concealer.
I always forget about that one.
Very good.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, so that's a real bummer. Short and sweet, but...
It'd be interesting to know if anyone else has also repurchased that and found that the formula's changed. Next up from me is this from L'Oreal. This is the Lash Paradise Mascara. In this country it's known as the Paradise Ecstatic. I've got it on today. It looks quite nice. I don't think it's prettier than my Maybelline Total Temptation, which is my fave at the moment. I have two main issues with this mascara. The one is it's a very, very dry formula. I like a drier mascara, but this from day one is so dry that it goes on very unevenly. So sometimes it's beautiful and smooth, and sometimes it's super really clumpy, and also clumpy on some lashes and not others. And I think that's down to the dry formula. I find it quite frustrating. So there's no sort of consistency of look with this stuff. Sometimes your lashes will look great, sometimes they'll look like spiders. It's kind of a crapshoot. I like the brush, it's quite nice. If this formula was a little bit wetter, I probably would be fine, but I'm not going to go and like try and wet this formula with contact lens solution or whatever to try and make it work. Like, it's a drugstore mascara, I'm not working that hard for it. The problem is that because it starts out so dry, it just lands up getting drier, so the issue just gets worse. So I just don't get it. The other thing that bothers me is something to do with this lid. The actual mascara collects around the top of the container, which I know for most people isn't a thing, but my makeup is pristine. I don't like things being messy and dirty, and it just irritates me. So every time you put the lid in, a whole lot of stuff squishes around the top, and I just don't like that. So I just think, you know what, it's not a terrible mascara, it's not my preference, but also I think it was super, super hyped up, and everyone was like, oh, it's the next best thing.
I borrowed it from you and I used it once, and I did really like it, but you just opened it, so I think it was still wetter than it is now. But
I think it was supposed to be the second coming of mascaras, and it just quite frankly isn't. Go and buy the Maybelline Total Temptation because it's the bee's knees. I've got one more makeup thing, and this really breaks my heart. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette. I think you bought this for me for Christmas. Look, on paper, this thing should be absolutely beautiful. It is such a gorgeous shade range. It's such a... Yeah,
you can just see it.
No, it's so bad. It's got a lovely mixture of foils and metallics and matte shades. They're all colours I would wear. They're divided into a day eye, a desk eye, a date eye, and a disco eye. In theory, this should be beautiful. I'm very disappointed for a couple of reasons. One, there isn't a lot of pigment in these eyeshadows. That's not always necessarily a bad thing, but I prefer a Urban Decay level, Lorac level, full whack of pigment at first swipe. I want to put the colour on my eye and it's instantaneously super intense. That's what I like. If you are more nervous of eyeshadow, or you don't like your eyeshadow to be too dark, this kind of thing isn't a problem. You can build it up, it's great. But I personally don't like that. I want, like I said, full impact from the first second it lands on my eye. The second thing to me is I'm not convinced of the quality of this formula, and I don't know if because it was a sort of limited edition Christmas thing, maybe they were made on the cheap, maybe the ingredients aren't as good as the normal quads, because by all accounts they're amazing. But for example, I went into the one shade with a wet brush to try and foil it, and what happened is I put the brush in the pan and a huge chunk of powder just came out. I'll show you in the close-up what that looks like. That's literally never happened to me in all my years of using eyeshadow, my hundreds of eyeshadow palettes. That has never ever happened to me, and I think it just shows perhaps inferior ingredients. It's not packed finely enough. Maybe there's not enough oil in the formula. It's just
enough of
it's just sad. It's disappointing. It's just
didn't use enough of a binding agent, maybe. So
and I've tried to use it. I really have, but no, it's just no.
Shame.
Very sad.
Well.
Also, can I just say this packaging?
It's cheap.
It looks like it's beautiful metal. It's not. It's plastic. And like, it's Charlotte Tilbury. Guys, come on.
On to disappointing eyeshadows. Whose one comes as a surprise.
Camilla's most hated eyeshadows. I don't know why you bought two.
We're not get into it. Kick me while I'm down. So I've got three, and these are all coconut oil based cream shadows. So I've got two of the Gillian Dempsey lip tints, and then I've got an RMS Beauty eye polish in the colour Solar. So I've swatched them all here so you can see them. The RMS one is particularly delicious.
Oh,
I know. These two are a bit more sheer. And so on the swatches you can see are beautiful and actually quite pigmented, I think. So the problem is, as the name would suggest, it's a lip tint. I know it's not supposed to be a full whack of colour, but I expect there to be some colour and for it to stay on my lid for some length of time. It does neither of those things. So it collects into the socket immediately, and I actually read an interview with Gillian Dempsey, and she was just like, deal with it. She was like, why do you care? No one looks into your crease. And I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, that's quite weird.
Yeah, she was just like, don't complain. Anyway, really bummed because those are £25 each. So the RMS one is similar and actually more noticeable because it is metallic. So the other two don't. Yeah, the color is a lot richer, and it's terrible. It's really terrible, and I'm devastated.
Unless you're a person who likes a grungy eye, in which case you go wild. But I don't know how many of those people exist.
No, not me.
And also are buying £25 eyeshadow.
Well, this was over 500 Rand when I bought it from Skins Cosmetics at Sandton City. So you can imagine how sad I was, because as you can see from the swatch, it actually looks drier than those two. It's not nearly as greasy. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be, I thought it was going to be like the Maybelline Color Tattoo. It's the same shade, but just the consistency is not workable.
So sad. I bought the Jill and Dempsey Lid Tint in Glimmer. I've only actually used it once, I think in a Get Ready With Me video on Instagram Live. The reason I wouldn't count it as a disappointing product is because you told me in advance, so I knew it was going to be creasy. So I'm not technically disappointed. And I love the shade of mine. Yeah. And I'm going to try and wear it and see if I can handle it. And if I can handle the creasing, cool. If I can't, well, I've lost nothing because except £25 because I sort of expected to be
look, I think I'm going to wear this one more, which is the bronzier one.
The shade I got I'll get away with because it's much lighter than those two.
Yeah. I don't know why I said the one I'd wear more. I'm not wearing either of them because they're shit.
Okay, two more things from me. The one is disappointing because I've never not liked anything from this brand. This is the La Roche-Posay Anthelios XL Ultralight SPF 50 spray. There's a very large section of the copy on here that says no white marks. Okay, I don't know if I got a dud. Because if anyone else has used this spray, it's a body SPF, then please tell me if you had the same thing. But what I don't understand is this is a lie. It's so white. So it's like a liquidy, watery spray, and I put it on all over my body, and
it's got no spreadability though. It's like
it's literally like it's really. It's not that it's thick. It's just it doesn't have any slip. So it's really, really hard to get across your body, and it's so white. Like it's like putting zinc on your body. And you try and rub it in, which you can't do because it's impossible, and it just gets worse. And it's just so uncomfortable and unpleasant to apply. I just don't understand it. It's so weird because their skincare is amazing, and so is all their SPF products are stunning. But that
fresh and moisturizing, easy to apply, and non-sticky.
Did they not test it, or did I get one that's broken? I don't know. That's broken. It's literally never going on my body ever again. My last thing is from Batiste. Now you know that I love Batiste. If you watched my empties video, you would have seen 500 bottles of it. This, however, is hideous. This is the Brilliant Blonde. It says Batiste Dry Shampoo Plus with a hint of colour, and obviously this is the one for blonde hair. The problem with it is that it is in fact like a golden yellow colour.
Ooh, like Rapunzel. Oh, it's a highlighter, like a highlighter yellow.
Oh, it smells so good though. Why? No one has this colour hair. So I don't really understand why you would make a hair product. So I spray it into my hair and all it does is make my roots look yellow. And it's so far away from the actual tone of blonde hair, I can't even tell you. So I don't get it. I'm sure have you used the brunette one?
I like the brunette one.
And so I think I've heard people say that they like that one, it's the right tone, but somebody properly messed up the colour of this one because there's nothing blonde about it. It's like cartoon yellow. It's, oh my god, now it's all over my hands.
My last one, it's not really a huge disappointment. I don't really understand them. These are the Lancome Juicy Shakers, so they come in these really sweet little cocktail shakers, and you shake them, and the pigment and the oils mix together, and you apply them on your lips, and it's got this really kind of spongy applicator. I don't like the feel of a thin oil on my lips, so I love the Clarins ones because they're thicker. This just actually
for demonstration purposes?
Yeah, I mean this is a lot more, as you can see, like it's a really nice thick substantial oil and feels very comforting. This feels, if anything, drying on my lips. I just, because it's too the oil is too flimsy.
It's kind of thing you can't handle. I love.
Yeah, it feels like it's dehydrating my lips.
What colour is this? Walk the lime. I'm gonna have it.
I don't think as a product category they're the worst, but they're just not for me.
Yeah.
So I know that you love them.
Ever wear this colour?
I did try. It's a lot more sheer than you think it's going to be. Yeah, it's very sheer.
I personally love this product. I think it's gorgeous. I love the matte ones too. Beautiful. But yeah, I think it is the kind of feeling that not everyone's going to like on their lips.
No bueno.
But I know exactly what you mean, because it is so thin, it feels almost uncomfortable, like you need to put lip balm on. Okay, it's the current batch of disappointing products. If you've used any of these and you found a workaround, or we aren't using them right, then let us know. If you've used something recently you found disappointing, tell the people in the comments so we can all make sure we don't buy it ourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and come and follow us on Instagram, because there's a lot happening there at the moment. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.